Hello everyone, welcome back, it's Doc. After building that platypus habitat, I was thinking, what else can we do with Pineland Zoo? And today's agenda will address exactly that question and what I thought we could do with the rest of that this kind of little valley, slash gorge, whatever you want to call it, is a little Australian walkthrough. And at first I was thinking, if I just do a simple outback walkthrough, it's gonna look like too much of a desert. But wouldn't it be cool if when you're on top of the pathway, that is the elevated pathway, that you can't see what is at the bottom and you have to go down to explore it? That's the idea I had behind this. Is like a fun little place to explore within the zoo that you would not expect to come up, only because it's so small, yet it has so many animals in it. That's the concept, and today's agenda will have building a koala habitat, setting the groundwork for a red kangaroo habitat, doing a lot of foliage work, doing a lot of terrain work, as well as pathing, and a lot of decoration for these exhibits that we have, because they're very plain when we put them first in the game. So I was trying to see how many animals can I fit in here, and when I think Australia, I think reptiles. So those are the things that are going to be addressed today. This is going to be a very intricate build. That said, it's going to be in two parts. The reason for that is mostly because otherwise we're going to have to deal with a very, very long video. I really don't want to put myself through that first, and I don't want to put you guys through that, because I want you to be able to enjoy the videos that you're watching. At the end, I'm putting the cinematics. Now, that was suggested to me by one of my friends, to put the cinematics at the end, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully the timestamps do work with the videos. If not, I'm going to come back to the video after I upload it and put the timestamps to what minute has what. I will do that, so no worries. And for now, I'm picking which animals we have. The Australian animal roster is really not that much. If you have to be honest about this, with Frontier as well, it's amazing, but Australia Pack gave us more building pieces than it did animals, and especially when it comes to reptiles, it really lacks. It's awesome that we have the eastern brown snake, I think that's what it's called, and they are one of the most venomous snakes in the world as far as I know, and that's awesome, and we have them. However, here's the thing, even though we have them, they are about the only snake, I think, that we have for the Australian theme slash Australian pack. Obviously it's not an animal pack, but I do think moving forward, we're going to get more animal packs, and maybe the next Australian pack we can get some flying creatures. I really hope so, with some herding mechanics. Those are the things I want the most. Maybe some budgies, or just the cockatoos, or macaws would be cool, but I would rather just have cockatoos because I think they're more interesting than macaws, but that's just my opinion. So we could see what we get for the rest of the animal packs. For 2022, we were only going to get 4 animal packs, so I think we already have 2, or no. Is the upcoming wetlands animal pack the first one of 2022? I really don't think so. I think we got Europe in 2022 as well, but if that's the case, we have 2 more packs to go. If that's not the case, we have 3 more packs to go before the end of this year, and how much they're going to give us, as far as we know. Here, I'm building a custom fence for the first section of the koala habitat. Now, with the koalas, I was thinking that it's more like a walkthrough in the entire Australian walkabout. I think I'm just going to call this the Australian walkthrough or something, because it's a 2-part video, and in the 2 parts that we have, I'm going to be making the entire thing. So we can call this the Australian walkthrough. Those little beads we have, or just the shapes, Australian shapes, I think work awesome for when you want to make a fence. And yes, I do know that the koalas can climb those, especially because there are ropes on them, but I will fix that issue later. Just hold on with me, and I play tested this entire build. Animals are happy. The koala welfare is around 70%, middle 70%, if you put 4 koalas into it. But, which, like I said, with this build, I'm trying to make sure that the animal welfare aspect is also up to standard, just in case once I upload this zoo into the workshop and people want to maybe play with it, they can really just have no problem with the sizes of the habitats we're making. Here, I'm just putting more pieces to make sure that the koalas don't escape. These are not climbable. These little non-grid pieces, they're not climbable. So I just put them and they look really pretty in my opinion. Here, there's a rope there that connects to another tree. That's the other part of the koala habitat. Now, you're going to see that soon. This is my custom fence I use also for the platypus shelter. I thought, why not keep the theme going? Because the platypus area is already kind of removed from this area, even though it's on the same walkway. But this entire, I'm thinking, habitat, well, at some point, I'm going to make some let's plays instead of speed builds. There, for us to have a bigger koala family, which is my idea at the moment, I'm going to go on with you on a live or a let's play, and we're going to make an entire walkthrough with some logs and put like one of those guest gates in the beginning of the walkthrough, so that when people come in, koalas are all around the place. That's my final goal. Here I'm sinking the custom fence down to the ground. I'm going to be building the last koala, viewing part. And the idea here is, and you're going to see that in the cinematics, the koalas will be passing through from the top. And that is going to just look awesome. And I've seen that happen. I thought at first maybe they won't be able to use it. And there were some, of course, fixes I had to do with the climbing structures because they were not able to use it too much in the beginning. Now they can. Just one thing, guys. Once you actually get this, get the cinematics part, or if you just skip to it, I couldn't talk for a second, you will see how awesome it looks with the koalas kind of walking on top of you when you're passing by. Of course, we could do a realistic fence, like an overpass fence, but then it kind of takes away from the whole idea of having a rope there, making it look more Australian and outback, and just, although it's going to be an Australian rainforest theme, I also want it to be relaxed. I don't want it to be so compact and you can't see the animals passing above you and stuff. I don't want that. And the koalas will not really fall in this game, so it's fine. Even in real life, they don't fall too often. Yes, they do fall and cry, and those videos are funny, but they don't really fall, so it's fine, especially for this game. Here I'm decorating the exhibits. Not exhibits? Yeah, the exhibits. Because I also wanted these exhibits to fit into the entire theme of the zoo. One more thing, guys, if I sound a bit sick and if my voice sounds a bit more, high than usual, that's because that could be taken out of context. Please do not take that out of context. I am just a bit sick. Like, I caught the I caught the legendary thing we have all been dealing with. I don't want this video to be flagged or something, so I'm not going to say the name of the thing, but we all know what I'm talking about. I've avoided it since its debut. I've avoided it for 3 years. Since 2019, I have avoided this thing. And I caught it. So I'm dealing with healing at the moment. I'm making a lot of content while I'm healing, but today I'm a bit more tired than usual. Anyway, that's why my voice sounds a bit weird. Here, I'm making the little way that this entire koala habitat will at the end connect to, and the staff area. This is important because I always try to make sure that the staff, so the zookeepers, only go through the shelters first, or most of the time they will just go through the shelters, and it's a good way to hide these habitat gates. I know most of you don't like the habitat gates, and there are ways to make them disappear and not see them. Like, you can use the fence tool and sink it to the ground, and then the keepers just will go over it, but the animals won't escape. That's a way. There's a hack to do that. You can look up tutorials on it. I don't exactly know what you would have to say, just like how to hide the habitat gate. But we don't need that today. I just wanted to give you a little bit of, tips as well. In real life, you don't have hidden habitat gates. Usually, you don't have habitat gates that are just standard for every single, zoo that there is. They don't all have one standardized habitat gate. But what you can do in this game is customize the gates and the doors as much as you want through hiding them with shelters, and that's what I usually do. I usually just make the shelter first and then I hide everything that way. There's a stop here because I was getting some tea, and then we continue. Here I'm making the kangaroo habitat. Now, it might look small, but actually it's perfect for a small kangaroo family. So I think I put in here at the end 3 kangaroos, and they had 2 babies, and they were still over 90% welfare. So you could still get away with putting more because it's totally fine. Here I'm making some custom fencing as well. I will be deleting this later on because it just didn't fit, since I decided at the end to completely just make this area staff only, so it didn't matter what it looked like, and therefore I just erased that entire area. Here I'm making their little kangaroo shelter, and one thing that I can tell you guys is if you just pick like a few colors and a theme and keep going with that, you're gonna have a really fun time building things in this game. It's very frustrating sometimes, and it's very exhausting sometimes to see people making these magnificent, just amazing looking zoos or buildings. But one trick they all have is they pick a theme. And you don't have to pick a theme as in like from the theme pieces that we have in the game. You can just make your own theme. Like here, I'm using, kind of more Asian theme and making it Australian. Like I thought, you know what? I'm pretty sure they also have bamboo in Australia. Maybe not in the nature, but they definitely would have similar structures in zoos. So I was thinking I could still make this look really Australian, even if I'm not using Australia pieces. And you can get the same result. If you don't have all the DLCs, for example, it would be a fun way to play the game. Here, as you see, I'm still trying to make sure that everything looks nice and perfect, but I'm going to be erasing them later. If you've ever looked at my specs, they're not the best, especially if I'm taking on a project this large. My computer at the moment is really not happy when I put this game on. Here, as you see, I'm erasing them because I'm going to make that area completely just staff, because I'm just going to be putting the high fence, and I'm continuing the theme again of the platypus habitat we made yesterday. Also, you guys, the platypus finally got a reveal by Frontier today, and it looks super cute, and I can't wait to place some platypus in that area. Now, this is my favorite fence in the game. I think it's very awesome because it's simple. I wish we would get a version of it that it was colorable and not just rusty like this, but to be honest, you can make the same with this iron pieces that are colorable, so it's no problem. This is a way to block those little weird parts. I didn't want to connect all the fences just because I was like, yeah, this fits. I like these little wire wrapped pieces. Sorry to say, but that's it for today, you guys. Here are the cinematics. That's what I was talking about, and I'll be quiet now and let you enjoy the cinematics and the photos that will come afterwards and the walkthrough. See you next time.